In today we are in the second part of this video, completing the chapter The Summit Within. In the previous part, we came to know that HPS Ahluwalia shared the experiences, how he felt while climbing such huge mountain like Everest, and he answers some personal questions like why anyone would go to bear such kind of physical endurance, torture, and even climbing such huge mountains. So, in that, he answered us that the ruggedness, the difficulties, and the beauty, and all these in a mountain actually drags us to climb over it. And in the last line of yesterday's last video, he says it is a challenge that is difficult to resist. And it means resist means you cannot stop yourself. Though it is a challenging task, but it's a human nature that we want to win anything that is mighty, that is challenging. So out of this nature, out of this curiosity, that what is across that mountain, we people tend to go there. That's why in the last line he says, though it is challenging, but one cannot stop or resist himself from accepting this challenge of climbing rock. Next, looking back, I found that I have not yet fully explained why I climbed Everest. Still, he says that perhaps he must have not given a complete answer. So he says next, it is like answering a question why you breathe. It is, he says, it is as vital, as necessary as like breathing. So why do you help your neighbor? Means this answer for this question is somewhat like why do you help your neighbor or why do you breathe and why do you want to do good acts. So there is no final answer possible for such questions because ultimate satisfaction that you do out of climbing all these mountains, it's indescribable. So that's why he says it is almost like giving answers for such questions that why do you breathe, why do you help your neighbor, means that is in our very nature. So by nature actually we are tend to do all these acts. And then there is fact that Everest is not just a physical climb. The man who has been to the mountain top becomes conscious in a special manner of his own smallness. This is in this large universe. And this is very specific line that poet says that when he covered the mountain, that time he realized the smallness of him, that how small he is in front of such huge mountain. That's why he says that it is not just a physical climb. Climbing a mountain not a physical climb. You do not realize it's a physical, but you feel it like it's spiritual, mental, and something very special manner of his own smallness. Means he simply want to say that when you cover such huge mountains, when you cover such distance, that time only you realize that what a small creature you are in front of such large universe. So if we want to realize our smallness in that case, we want to control our ego, this is the only way. Then only we can realize it in front of them. Next, the physical conquest of a mountain is only one part of the achievement. There is more to it than that. Means there is more, something more than only physical conquest. Means when you simply cover such mountains, we have a sense of conquest, means victory over mountain. But he says that its benefits are more than that. And what is that? It is followed by a sense of fulfillment, satisfaction, that there is the satisfaction of a deep urge to rise above one's surroundings. First feeling is that you have a satisfaction that you actually went to such a high place, from where you can see all surroundings. You imagine yourself at the top of some mountain. Definitely how nice the vistas, the view will be from there. And that's give you a fulfill satisfaction that you are at a top, and from that top you are means observing all these places. The things, many things are just below you. And it is the eternal love for adventure in man. And secondly, he says that because of eternal means permanent love. Human has a nature that is of eternal, permanent love, and that is for adventure in a way. Because we have an adventurous. So when we do such adventures at the high place, we realize the satisfaction. The experience is not merely physical. It is not merely only physical, it is emotional and it is spiritual. So, in what sense? Like with satisfaction we get when you get the physical exhaustion, physical sort of fatigue, and all this, all is physical. But mentally, when you feel it, that you get a satisfaction or you feel the smallness, that is emotional experience. And when you feel that you are somewhat more near to such a peaceful place and you are more near to God, so that is a spiritual kind of experience. Consider a typical climb. Typical means different type. This word has been derived from type. So typical concept means understand a different kind of new type of climbing and toward the summit on the last height, and the top height he calls last height. You are sharing a rope with another climber, and you form it means you form the nail on some place, and then he cuts the steps in the hard ice means he put his step on the hard ice, and that way he climbs up. Then he village and you inch your way up. Village means you fix a roof and then you climb up likewise. The climb is grim, and grim means here that the climbing is not that much, it's really tough, little hard. Still still you do that. You strain every nerve. Strain means होता है strain करना, to give some jerk. Strainus, you must have heard that jerk. And when it required strength to your muscles when they get strained. So means there is more exercise is given to them, and you take every step by much efforts. It simply means you do not put your steps while going uphill task, while going some uphill, hill rocks. It is really strenuous work. So you take every step with much efforts. And famous climbers have left records of the help given by others. They have also recorded how they needed a just that help, else they might have given up. Means in place of giving up, accepted the defeat, they recorded how they needed just that help, the help of someone's giving them rope and climbing them. Else they might have given up. Otherwise they would have given up the idea to climb that rock. Breathing is difficult over there. He says that he expresses his experience over there. So he says that breathing is again a difficult task there. As I told that um, high altitudes problems. You curse yourself for having let yourself in for this, and you wonder why you ever undertook the ascent. Ascent means climbing. That sometimes even curse yourself for having it yourself means you are at that place and you are not able to take breath, not able to complete your journey. There are moments when you feel like going back, and this is the line he describes his journey, that there are some moments when you or means anyone would withdraw his idea. There are some such moments that many times even people think of leaving the idea to climb the rocks. Means this is this much tough journey. And be sheer relief to go down, and it will be a simple relief. It will give you repose and relief. That's when simply you go down instead of up, because going uphill is rather tough. So sometimes he says that we even take the idea to go back, but almost at once you snap out that mood. We snap out means we remove that, we break out, we break that idea, and that mood actually goes away, and suddenly them different thoughts comes to our mind that no, we should not withdraw the idea, we should go up. There is something in you that does not let you give up, and there is something in us, some element in us that does not let us go back, and we again with full efforts we try climbing up. We feel like going back, but still there is something that checks us from giving up. Though the experience is very tough, as he is saying that we make all efforts to go up, even with others' help, proof, but even breathing is so difficult over there. So sometimes we feel like going back. Now, just another 30 feet or 100 maybe. So again we give ourselves encourage that the top, the summit of the rock is just 50 feet or 100 maybe. So then we ask ourselves, and is there no end? You look at your companion and he looks at you, means you look at each other, and then again out of the encouragement of your friend, or you encourage your friend, you then go up. You draw inspiration from each other, and then without first being aware of it, you are at the summit. And finally, anyhow, you encourage your friend sometime not let you go down and would encourage you. So with this effort, you joint venture, you go up. Then look, when you are at the top, what is your experience? Looking around from the summit, you tell yourself that it was worthwhile. Worthwhile means something that should be given importance. It's a good, specific experience. It's worthwhile means very important, should be given recognition. Then you realize other silvery peaks appear through the clouds, and at the top you see other silver colored peaks. If you are lucky, the sun may be on them, and you would be very lucky if you see sun glittering over there, and that brightness gives you a special kind of pleasure. The surrounding peaks look like a jeweled necklace around the neck of your summit, and it looks like it's jeweled necklace. The peaks below you see, and what you see from the top, he's explaining the experience. And the below that area you see that there are vast valleys sloping into the distance, they are far and away distance. It is an ennobling, enriching experience. Ennobling means it's a graceful experience, honorful experience, and enriching experience. The experience that is rich with the satisfaction, and you never forget it. You bow down and make your obeisance to whichever god you worship. And when you go to that height, you then show your obedience, your submission. You bow down yourself in front of that Almighty that actually gave you the strength to go up to that height. So, whatever you believe in, you bow down yourself and you submit yourself, you express your obedience to that Almighty, any, whatever, or whichever God you worship. I left on Everest a picture of Guru Nanak. So, first paragraph, second explanation is there that what did he do out of reverence, out of respect to God, because thankfully he could do that expedition safe and successfully. So, what did he do out of respect, out of reverence? He left a picture of Guru Nanak at that height because he being a Sikh. And Rawat left a picture of goddess Durga. Fu Dorji left a relic of the Buddha. Relic means remembrance of Buddha. And Edmund Hillary, being Christian, had buried a cross under a cairn. It's a heap of rocks, so he put it under some heaps of rocks. These are not symbols of actually conquest. So writer says that these are not the symbol of their victory, that they have won something, and they went there and they set an example for their victory. No, but it is for reverence, and reverence means respect. Respect, that high respect for God. The experience of having climbed to the summit changes you completely. It's a very important line that when you climb a rock, a very highest rock, you are not left the same. We touched this line in the beginning, first video as well. हमने first video में इस line को discuss किया था. That you are not the same when you climb a rock. You people may be thinking, why sir, why it is so? And he says that we completely change. Why? Because when you complete such height, you are rather humble now, because you see the vastness of the nature, the vastness of the universe. Then you are quite humble to it. There is another summit, it is within yourself. Now the poet says that there is not only one summit, there are two. One summit is that summit of that physical mountains, and another summit is the mountain or the summit, the height that is within you. It is equally important to climb the mountain that is in your heart, and that is your own mind. Each man carries within himself his own mountain peak. The mountain may be of responsibilities, the mountain may be of fear, the mountain may be anxieties. So he says that this winning of this mountain is still equally important. He must climb it to reach to a fuller knowledge of himself. It is fearful and unscalable. It cannot be climbed by anyone else. Means the mountain that is in you cannot be climbed by anyone else. It should be climbed by you only. That's why he says that he filled with humility and he thanked the God, and then he left on Everest some picture for Guru Nanak. Fine. In the form of reverence, respect to him. Okay. And there he suffered a lot, even many problems. So sometimes he felt like going back. So he says that the anxieties, the worries, whatever is in you, you need to climb it. So he says that climbing this mountain in your heart or mind is greater than that. And the physical act of climbing to the summit of a mountain outside is akin to the act of climbing the mountain that is in your act of climbing the mountain within. Within means that is in your heart. Means akin to in the very first line there is a phrase written akin to, means it's of same kind. Climbing a mountain that is physical is again of the same breed, of the same brand, of the same blood, that is akin to like act of climbing the mountain that is within, that is in you. The effect of both the climbs are the same. The result of both the climbings are the same. Like when you win your heart, you win your mind, you are humble. Similarly, when you climb a physical mountain, you are again humble. You feel the greatness of God. Similarly, when you climb the mountain of your heart, you realize the greatness of God, and you see yourself a small creature in front of that huge universe. Now, whether the mountain you climb is physical or emotional or spiritual, the climb will certainly change you. That's why I said that you are not remain the same after climbing that mountain. So that is your own mind. Really winning your heart, winning your mind is controlling your mind is challenging than the physical mountain. And that's why he says actually its complete meaning is it is very difficult task to know yourself. It may be little easy to complete a to complete an expedition over the mountain, but it is more difficult task to know yourself, know your heart, control your emotions, control your mind. And because one has to do it alone, No one would help you in this. In other mountain climbing, someone would help you, giving you a rope, hitting a nail for you on some cold ice. But here, you will have to do it on your own. And that's why he says that this his experience of an Everest inspired him to face his life boldly. How one can face the life challenges boldly. That's why he says that after completing that challenges, you are no more arrogant, you are quite humble. That's why he says it will certainly change you. It teaches you much about the world and about yourself. So after doing all these, you learn more about you and more about world, and you learn about you that how small you are in front of such great mountain. I venture to think that my experience as an Everester has provided me with the inspiration to face life's ordeals resolutely. Ordeals means challenges, painful experience. And this is the outcome. He tells us that what he learned, what he gained from as being an Everester is that he got inspiration to face his life painful experiences or challenges. Resolutely means out of a resolution. Like you are very firm while climbing a rock. Similarly, you should be very firm while dealing with your life problems. And climbing the mountain was a worthwhile experience. It was a recognized, worth noticing experience for him. He does not call it in an ordinary experiences. The conquest means the victory of the internal summit is equally worthwhile, but he says that we should not all the time engaged in means such kind of outer summits covering. We should also be focused at conquesting the summit within because it is also equally worthwhile. The internal summits are perhaps higher than Everest. And finally, he used a very happy conclusion that I also put more stress on, that it is more challenging to conquest the summit that is in you than the physical mountain that is Everest, Mount Everest. So breathing at that height is difficult, fine, and sometimes you even curse yourself for undertaking this task. Means you curse yourself when you started journey. You take your curse yourself that you took that task is easy, but it was tough. Then you sometime you decide to go back. But when you cover it, you feel back again relief, and you feel that there is something that does not let him. You give up, and you do not leave your struggle. So there are two mountains. One is this mountain, the summit in you, and he says that completing this expedition actually taught him, gave him inspiration to face his life challenges. And finally he said that the conquest that is your internal, that is within you, is somehow far and far difficult than any height to Mount Everest. I hope this is a very heavy message giving lesson. I hope you must have tried to understand this. Please read this chapter again, understand it well, and we'll understand this again in our online classes. Do attempt all these questions in your fair notebook. Thank you for attending the class. Thank you.